this very quick amateur, and I do mean amateur video. The object is for persons to show their real belief in God. Real belief in God. Is my belief in God not real or erroneous? Or what is it? Let me see if my belief in God is there. My belief in God. And I'm going to try to bring in the Ark of the Covenant. That is the person that can, in years behind, the Ark of the Covenant could be asked what is to be done, because there's so much difficulty in knowing what the heck to really do. Is it my own ego doing something, or is it really God trying to do something through me? So we want to prove to ourselves, I don't care what's happening, but prove to the self that I have faith in God and I want to follow God's order. So let's see just a quick history of mine, of the Ark and the Covenant, okay? And then after we get through with that, and a little bit of history from what I feel, Judaism is only known like 3,500 years ago, but actually it's very old. And from this you may get a notion about it, okay? I hope it comes out nice. I'll make it as brief as I can and as quick as I can. Remember, I am no expert engineer or anything like that, but let's sit here. Let's make we're going to call this India, right? India, right above Bombay. There was an island, a very famous island, and very, very strong fighters were there. They were called at that time the Yadavas. Yadavas, okay? So the Yadavas were there. They had an object to fulfill. Their object was that there was so much disenchantment in this world, and there were so many wars, and there were so many warlords, and there was just so much going on that the world had to calm down. And the only way to the world to calm down is these Yadavas were called. They were called from different planets to come down. In other words, they were very special soldiers. They weren't just soldiers, they were very special soldiers. Okay, so they lived on this island. And why on the island? Because a military man has a different way of living than a civilian. Myself, being the son of a military man, and my grandfather was a military man, I know that it's very hard for a military person after retirement to all of a sudden enter civilian life. It's very difficult. They don't go together so easy. So they were smart. They kept themselves over here. They may want to fight, but to get a good fight going, you get a little drunk, you get a little hepped up and everything. They have to. They're fighters. They're fighters. You have to get this fighting energy out of them. So that's what they would do. Now, around 100 years this island lasted, and it was no longer useful. So because it wasn't useful, it was destined to be flooded. So a flood came, and also this island fell, and pieces of this island can be found right there, right above Bombay. I can write the name. Excuse me, an A there. Ka. Dwarka. D-V-A-R, and I think A-K-A. Dwarka. Dwarka. The island of Dwarka sunk about 5,000 years ago. Okay? Now, on that island, before it sunk, let's just say the person that was in charge of this island wanted to take everybody out of that island that had helped him so much. It was like giving them a prize. Okay, now everybody back to their planets. So what happened is they fought each other and killed each other. And in that way, they all left, except for a few. Now, just thinking of a military man, he may have more than one a wife. And he may have also progeny on the side. So these personalities, from being begotten by these really like universal soldiers, they were there. They had the genes and the potencies of all these fighters, but they didn't leave. So when this went down, some of them went back to mainland India, and some of them went west. Okay? No one is able actually to control this potency, so most of them had left. But those some that stayed had some of that potency also, a lot of it. And they were great fighters, and they were great businessmen. So some indication means that these were actually, Yadavas were actually the Jewish colony. And they left, going west. Now, they are meant to go someplace. They are meant to go someplace. Okay, I agree with the statement that there was a promised land. That is totally agreed upon. Okay, now you have that mountain. If you were to look at that mountain, right, you would look at that mountain, you would somewhat, because so many ages have passed, you would somewhat think that it's actually a pyramid. A pyramid. Right? A pyramid. It's a pyramid. And the top part is what they call the eye of the pyramid. So what was sitting in the eye of the pyramid in Egypt, and what was it doing there? You better look at my spelling, Egypt, okay? So now, someone conquered that hill. That hill is special because Abraham used it for sacrifice, and Isaac's son, Jacob. This has to be understood. Jacob was the rightful heir, but persons didn't understand that. Jacob came out second, but he put his hand out and he got the ribbon on it. So when he came out, he had the ribbon on it, so he was the rightful heir. But he came out second, so everybody said, no, he's not the rightful heir. The other baby that came out is the rightful heir. So he was always afflicted with this. Always, his whole life was afflicted with this. So in Vedic society, they know that, and it's logical, the last baby is the strongest baby. The sperm that swam the fastest is going to come out the second in twins. So he was actually, Jacob was actually in all circumstances, he was the heir. So what happened to Jacob? Well, Jacob, after this all happened, he left home. He even tried to fool his father Isaac and get the kingdom. His mother even tried to help him out, but it was just too much. So Jacob, goodbye. But where would Jacob go being from a family like that? He went to a place of prayer. He went there. And what did Jacob do? He slept there. It's just a flat place, you know, and he's sleeping there. But there was a round stone, a long round stone. Now, in their native place, that round stone is called Shivlinga. Shivlinga. That round stone, Shivlinga, he used it as a pillow. And it's even said in how he used that round, long stone as a pillow. And when he laid his head on it, he had the first and the foremost vision of the spiritual world. So he said, this stone is not just any stone. So you could say, without a doubt, he's an idol worshiper. But this is not material idol worshiper. This stone can date back millenniums. And this stone was given to Ravana's mother. Ravana, I can't write everything, but you know, Ravana's mother. This stone was given to Ravana's mother. Let's see if we can write Ravana. Ravana. Yeah, it was given to Ravana's mother because she asked for a shivling that would help her family members. She said, my family members have all been killed off by Sri Ram, and we were worshiping Shiva. And Ram worshipped the same Shiva, and the Shivlinga that Ram worshipped took his side, and not Ravana's side, and all my family have been killed. I want a Shivling that can help my family and what? Be fighters. Be courageous fighters. Not just any fighter, but courageous fighters. Ram had to come to try to get rid of them. They were courageous fighters. So, okay, then her, you know, mendator or you could call guru, he says, okay, let's not put the Shivling in India territory. Let's put the Shivling in outside, and you can worship outside. So her family members went to this area. This area where I just erased the flat top, right? I'm trying to make it again. Yeah, the flat top this is where the temple is actually at right now anyways. Okay, so that's where they worship. So they worship this Shivling on top here. And right here also was the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant. And someone came, conquered this place, and knew that that Ark of the Covenant was special. That Ark of the Covenant was so special. I want to make sure everything's running good. I don't want to lose out on this. That Ark of the Covenant was so special, they stole it, took it to Egypt, reproduced the same thing that's happening here. And what did they produce? They produced electricity. That Ark of the Covenant was like the breaker for electricity. There is a spring that goes through there, and it's very essential to have a spring going through the electrical plant. And it was aqueducts going through here, and it's very essential to have aqueducts going through there. And the water was carried by the Jewish up here and cooled down through different tunnels. And there's steps and there's small tunnels where water could go down and cool the side to keep a difference. You know, you always have to have a difference for the positive and negative. And these blocks are made in such a way, these are not blocks cut. These blocks are made, handmade, and placed there. Some of these blocks are conducting blocks. Some of these blocks are non-conducting blocks. There's a difference between them. And because of that difference, there is an electrical charge. And the electrical charge, now that the Ark of the Covenant's over here, goes into that battery. And then the battery sends out a signal, because Tesla knew that electricity could also be sent out, but it has to be analog. It can't be digital. It can't be alternating. It can't go back and forth. It has to be direct. Analog. Okay. Analog. This electricity is analog. And a surprising thing too, most of the people in Egypt, after so many years, 400 years, can you imagine 400 years? They had forgotten why and how. They didn't know the science. They just knew that that Ark of the Covenant, which is like a breaker for them, is giving them electricity. That's all they had to know. And they knew that the putting of the water and then the water flowing, all this they knew, but they really didn't know the science. But there was a man by the name of Moses that did. He had a very long staff. That staff he could hold up and he could get energy from there. That was a very strong energy force. I'm not putting this out of God's hand, because God is natural and this is all natural. This is science. So Moses was grabbing all that energy. It wasn't that God didn't favor him or anything like that. It's just that he knew the science on this. He knew science. So now, here, Ravana's family comes. They place the linga and they place the Ark of the Covenant. Why the two are there? Because Shiva needs his wife. The Ark of the Covenant is Shiva's wife. The Ark of the Covenant is called the yoni, the vagina. And linga, Shiva linga, means the genital. So Shiva was sitting there. And where did Jacob end up with that Shiva linga? He ended up with that Shiva linga in Mecca. That's where that Shiva linga is, boys. That Shiva linga should be on top of that hill. To get full force, that Shiva linga should be united with its yoni. I mean, wouldn't you like to be united with your counterpart, as you could call it? And that Ark of the Covenant is said to be, I don't know, is said to be inside that place. Now, let's put this together. Let's put it together, you know, in a friendly, smart way. Let's put it together. If that Ark of the Covenant is there, and I hope it's still giving off some frequency, that frequency could be captured by towers. That frequency could be captured by towers, and you can still ask it questions. You can get some direction. If you really have some faith in the Ark of the Covenant, then put some towers around and see if you can get that frequency. I can tell you, right here in India, they know that these types of Shivlings are called Jyoti. Or let's see, no, that would be J. J-O, yeah, Jyotir. Jyoti, or Tir, doesn't matter. Okay, this means self-manifested. This doesn't mean carved. This means self-manifested. That Mecca boy that was brought over by Ravana's family, and then it was just knocked out of its position, and they took the yoni to Egypt. That yoni belongs on that hill. That Shiva linga belongs, but don't worry about it. Just, he's calm. He's nicely worshipped right now. Okay, so at least make some endeavor. Here in India, they know that this type of Shiva linga gives off a certain frequency, and they can spot it. Understand? You can take any airplane or anything, you can fly it over the Mecca and everything, and you will get a certain frequency from that Shiva linga. It is alive. It is alive. It has potency in it. And also, this Jyotir, This Ark of the Covenant is alive. It has potency in it. So, you know, you're always sitting down for meetings and everything, trying to decide what to do in the world. So just take a little bit of endeavor. You guys are more technically advanced than I could ever be. Take your time. Instead of arguing back and forth, just ask some questions. Set up some way to, but I hope it's because this Ark of the Covenant was also using uh, gold. It was using edible gold. And that edible gold was being supplied by a king in India. He was given that Ark of the Covenant, the edible gold, so that it could work right. So I don't know if the battery is running right now or not. But I would suggest that it is, or hope that it is, still running. It's got its own miraculous power. So come on. Instead of just guessing and asking everybody what should be done, what shouldn't be done, at least give a break. Give a break to Shiva as he comes. Give a break to, you could say Joni, or you could say the female energy. She is the female energy of this material world. She is the progenitor. She is the one who gives life. She is the female energy, and he is the masculine energy. So, bring them together. You know, at least make an effort, or show me wrong. You know, and I don't even have very many connections with anybody. But I hope somebody of intelligence listens to this, and even if it is speculative, and I don't think it's that far off, boys. I don't think. I know that pyramid wasn't just some burying place. That pyramid was an electrical plant. And the upper part of the pyramid is decaying more than the lower part of the pyramid, showing that it is made of different material. And that's what you need. You need two different materials to make an energy flow. So it's like an incredible, when I see this analog energy, this natural energy that even God manifests through. He will manifest through that analog energy. He will never manifest through your digital energy. Don't put your stakes, don't put all your money on digital. Analog energy is superior to any digital energy. Digital energy is not human. It is not human. It is destructive to human energy. I'm not saying don't use it, because it's easier to use a digital energy and in so many ways to get some message out, to send something like that. But don't put everything on digital. Get away from it as much as you can. Get analog energy. Get in contact with that vibration of the Joni, and get in contact with that Linga. By the way, Moses saw Shiva on that mountain. The description of Shiva is that he's white, not white and like me, but like like what you would call a silvery white, like a silver white color. And that is also how he's described in the ancient text of the Vedas. So that's who Moses saw on the mountain when he went for the 10 Commandments. He wanted to see him. So he saw him. So at least approach him. Give him a chance. And I think it'll come out very nice. And maybe if the cooperation comes, then you can do a beautiful festival, and you at least bring the Ark of the Covenant to the top, where it had been established by Solomon. Bring it back up to the top. And then if Mecca cooperates and would like to, only if they'd like to, because you don't really have to. They're connected. They are so energetic that they are connected, no matter where they are. But you could also put Lord Shiva back on the Joni, and then that would be like fantastic. Don't worry about it. At least come to a point where you can understand. If you have to understand if you really are following who you say you are. You really don't know. Okay, thank you very much.